What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room. And this is where we at now. So apparently, they have the suspect in custody, young man named Tyler Robertson. And this is where we at now. And I'm glad to see that, we have somebody that actually is in custody that they really think that, they have the evidence against. We know the other two gentlemen, they didn't have evidence against them. Well, they was just, under questioning and stuff like that. But this is where we at, though. So apparently the footage that we did the report on the last night, of course, they cleaned it up. They did what they need to do. They figured things out. And then also, too, what's being said here is that a family member of his recognized him and turned his punk ass in.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
So this is a testament to let you know, you guys go out there and do some dumb shit. Your family not going to always have your backs, in some craziness like this. This is ridiculous here. And for you to think that your family is going to just hold you up in this type of foolishness and flat out wrong. Jesus Christ, I sure hate that you think that way, but we're going to dive off into this quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
It is great to have you with us here on a Friday night, and we do begin tonight with the breaking news and the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. Tonight, the suspect now under arrest, and authorities now say his family played a role in his surrender. Utah Governor Spencer Cox identifying the alleged shooter as 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, taken into custody after the governor says he confessed to a family member. The investigation picking up speed after the FBI released new images of the suspect last night. Authorities say his father recognizing his son dressed in dark clothes and wearing sunglasses. The governor says the father worked to convince his son to turn himself in. Authorities also releasing dramatic video that they say shows the suspect making his escape moments after the shooting, jumping from a rooftop to the ground, then running away. The governor saying Tyler Robinson left messages on the bullet casings described as anti-fascist messages. And tonight, the new timeline here, how authorities say this all unfolded when the suspect arrived on campus and allegedly changed and made his way to that building. ABC's chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman, leading us off tonight from Utah.
Tonight, the man authorities say assassinated conservative activist Charlie Kirk with a single shot in front of a crowd of thousands, now behind bars. They say 22-year-old Tyler Robinson turned himself in at the urging of his own father, who recognized him from the widely circulated photos and videos.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him.
Utah Governor Spencer Cox saying Robinson had confessed to a family member.
A family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident.
The governor saying a family member said Robinson had recently become more political and had brought up Kirk's visit during a family dinner.
Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate.
And after painstakingly piecing together video, investigators say they've reconstructed Robinson's path to the scene of the crime. They say he arrived on campus in his Dodge Challenger at 8:29 a.m. and at some point changed into the distinctive outfit seen in those photos. Black cap, sunglasses, and that black shirt emblazoned with an eagle and an American flag. TMZ obtaining this video of a man who matches that description, and he appears to be limping. Police say before the shooting, Robinson appears to walk with a stiff right leg, and that his ability to bend his right leg appears to be restricted. Law enforcement sources now tell us investigators believe Robinson was hiding his long gun under his clothing, which explains why he was walking that way. Police say more than 3 hours later at 11:50 a.m., cameras caught Robinson making his way up the building stairwell into the roof, where he crouched down and waited, watching Kirk rev up the crowd. And at 12:22, they say Robinson started to run, not limping anymore, laying down in a sniper position about 175 yards away from the stage. And just 1 minute later, as Kirk was answering a question about gun violence, police say the suspect fired.
You know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
And as the crowd ducked in panic, cameras capturing this image of a shadowy figure on the roof. And police say this video shows Robinson scampering across the roof and dropping down to the ground and then jogging off. Did it seem like he had a firearm when he came down?
Yeah, I believe he did. The video is very grainy. It's from a distance. But yes, we absolutely believe he had the firearm when he jumped off that building.
And authorities say that suspect crossed the street from campus just over there, walked up this drive into this wooded area. And somewhere around here, he stashed that rifle, wrapped in a dark towel, those cartridges still inside. The governor today saying there were messages inscribed on the bullet casings.
I will leave that up to you to interpret what those engravings mean. I think the clearest one that says "catch fascist," there's not, and by the way, that's like catch like a ball, catch this.
I mean, it is what it is here. So they also, I'm pretty sure, of course, they also said that they have fingerprints and other things like that. So I'm pretty sure they've matched the fingerprints with him on the where he was trying to fall down from the rooftop, stuff like that. So yeah, man, it just is what it is here. This is ridiculous, man. And the thing of this is we can't allow this to go on. He needs to be tried. I'm talking about this trial needs to be public, bro. I'm sorry, but none of that private shit that they want to try people in. This trial needs to be public.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
You know, he needs to allocute. He needs to tell everybody what his issue really was, what actually pushed, what was he thinking that day he woke up and thought that he was, going to do this, and he actually executed this plan. What was his problem and stuff like that? This is also a huge problem for us in society. And also, to see the people online and stuff like that going out of their way to talk down on this man and his death and stuff like that. And I've even seen footage of people actually cheering that on while they were at the rally. Like, moments after Charlie was shot, a few people was cheering and stuff. Like, man, this is weird. This is weird. These demon-filled people out here are losing it. And we have to put a stop to this type of rhetoric right here, because at the end of the day, they're slowly but surely going to try to clash out, going to try to get rid of free speech. And we can't allow that to happen. Not in this country.
I think that speaks for itself.
Authorities also alleging Robinson shared details about the shooting and messages to his roommate.
The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique.
And tonight, for the first time, we're hearing from Charlie Kirk's widow, Erica.
Charlie loved his children, and he loved me with all of his heart. And I knew that. Every day I knew that. He made sure I knew that every day. Every day he would ask me, how can I serve you better? How can I be a better husband? How can I be a better father? Every day. Every day. Such a good man.
And David, tonight, Tyler Robinson is an inmate at the Utah County Jail. He has not yet been formally charged. We expect those charges to be filed on Tuesday, likely followed by federal charges. And officials tell us that if he is convicted, he will face the death penalty. David.
Matt Cuppin leading us off here again tonight. Matt, thank you. And tonight, authorities now, of course, looking into Tyler Robinson's background, his social media posts, his experience with guns. He was from a family of hunters. And police tonight saying a family member describing Tyler Robinson's alleged recent frustration with politics and hate. He's now expected to face those state charges. And here's Pierre Thomas.
Tonight, a portrait emerging of Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old Utah man who authorities say assassinated Charlie Kirk. Social media tells part of his story. His family included hunters, people very familiar and comfortable with guns. He comes from a middle-class Mormon family. Robin's mother is a social worker. His father recently ran a kitchen countertop business. Though he did not have military experience, sources tell ABC News they believe Robinson was proficient with firearms and had enough skill to make a long-distance shot from an elevated perch. And today, the governor alleged that
if you are a hunter, if you grew up in a family that went hunting and stuff like that, deer hunting, uh, basically stuff like that, you're going to have a good bead on knowing how to use a rifle, definitely long range, and this is just facts. You don't have to go to the army to really get skills like that. Like I said, if you grew up in a family that goes hunting pretty much since you were born, yeah, you're going to know how to use a weapon like that.
The suspect wanted to literally use bullets to send messages. Here's what the governor said was on the shell casings recovered from that single bolt action rifle believed to have been used in the attack.
Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist!" ! Catch! !
Another shell casing referencing an Italian anti-fascist folk song. The engravings appear to point to a man consumed by internet culture. Robinson also used the encrypted messaging app Discord to communicate, a popular messaging tool used by young people that has been repeatedly tied to young men engaged in horrific acts of violence. Discord releasing a statement today acknowledging Robinson did have an account with their platform, since deleted, but say they found no evidence the suspect planned this incident or promoted violence on their platform. Christian Schwierman was the custodian at Robinson's grade school and has known the Robinson family for over 16 years, describing the suspect as smart.
He's part of our neighborhood, I saw him grow up, yet I would have never thought that.
Keaton Brixby has known Robinson since middle school.
I knew his family had firearms. I knew he shot all the time. There was pictures all over his family's Facebook of him with firearms. Everyone in St. George has them. It's a very conservative town.
David, as you heard, authorities say Tyler Robinson, described by family and friends as smart, came home more concerned about politics that he told a family member Charlie Kirk was coming to campus. That family member describing Kirk as full of hate. David?
Pierre Thomas on the unfolding investigation tonight. Pierre, our thanks to you as well. And now to that remarkable moment today amid all of these developments. The stark warning from the Republican governor of Utah for all Americans. The governor calling social media, quote, a cancer, asking Americans to log off, touch grass, hug a family member, do good in your community, denouncing the violence against Republicans and Democrats. Here's Jonathan Karl on what he said.
Utah Governor Spencer Cox said today the killing of Charlie Kirk made him angry as he has ever been.
It is an attack on all of us. It is an attack on the American experiment. It is an attack on our ideals.
But despite the anger, Governor Cox, a Republican, is pleading for calm, for dialing down the rage and the division, pointing out that political violence has targeted Democrats as well as Republicans, saying the shooting in his state can be a turning point for America.
We can return violence with violence. We can return hate with hate. And that's the problem with political violence, is it metastasizes, because we can always point the finger at the other side. And at some point, we have to find an off-ramp, or it's going to get much, much worse.
The governor's words stood in stark contrast to those, including the president, who have blamed the attack on the, quote, radical left.
I think we need more moral clarity right now. I hear all the time that words are violence. Words are not violence. Violence is violence. And there is one person responsible for what happened here, and that person is now in custody.
And Cox took aim at all those hateful messages circulating on social media.
Social media is a cancer on our society right now. And I would encourage people to log off, turn off, touch grass, hug a family member, go out and do good in your community.
Governor Cox called the killing of Charlie Kirk a watershed moment, marking a new chapter in American history. The question is whether it is the end of a dark chapter or the beginning of an even darker one. David?
Yeah.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
That's what's up. Shout out to the governor for actually speaking some common sense out here. I definitely like that message, and I agree with it. A lot of people do need to, disengage from the internet, especially if your mental capacity is not able to handle the information that you engage with on the internet, or that run across your feed and stuff like that. And you think that a lot of this stuff is just hardcore truth, or you need to take up arms to do something dire to, you know, make a message like this. You know, this is crazy here. And, you know, from what it seems like, the Robinson kid, you know, he grew up in a conservative town, things like that. But for some way, even his family was like he was going radical. And, you know what I'm saying, he, you know, changed his, pretty much changed his politics, all types of stuff. So, yeah, it's crazy here that we are dealing with this situation. It's very sad. And we need to actually start focusing on, you know, like the governor and everybody saying, we need to start focusing on getting this country back online with some peace again and understanding each other's opinion and what we need to do to try to meet in the middle. And it's a crazy thing, but you know, it's kind of hard to do when one side is just not wanting to give up on the promoting tragedy. Because, you know, we seen what's going on the internet right now, you know, with the, you know, Charlie Kirk situation, and everybody's talking out the side of their necks, you know, celebrating and stuff like that. This is ridiculous here, but it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.